Hello lovely people. This is going to be a RTA evaluation of my kind of quick tuning session with Alpine Status front end and One Audio Infinite Baffle subwoofer. So I did this tune a couple of days ago when I just finished installing all the gear in my car just to have it running. I wanted to listen to music while I'm driving. So I spent probably an hour and a half doing this quick tune. What I didn't do impulse response. I did just the RTA, and I did the timing kind of from memory what I had previously because none of the locations for the drivers changed. Hence why I didn't choose any different targets. Targets kind of stayed the same compared to the old tune because the main response of the driver is defined by its location. And I didn't really change the location because mid's in the dash, same dash. Mid bass in the kicks, same kicks. It doesn't change. The subwoofer location the same. Even the infinite baffle location is the same. So nothing really changed. I put a Helix DSP there, and it's such a breeze to tune with it. Like the auto functions, auto EQ, import, everything amazing. That's why it took very, very little. Left and right tweeter, very similar response. We have this dip in the response. I did a video about this. It's not really an issue. So crossed at 2.2K, something like that. Just quite lowish, but you can blow lower. Again, I didn't want to spend too much time. I will be doing a proper tune later on with the distortion measurements and everything just to see how to optimally do this. So crossover EQ according to the target, like that. I left this as it is, just remove from there. So I did lose a lot of energy. How this one, I needed the extension. So I chose a slightly lower target curve. It's missing information here, but it is what it is for now. I'm thinking about solutions, how to deal with this. Very similar with the right tweeter. Again, crossover and EQ. And all of them, both of them ended up like this. So I do EQ on 148, which very few people do. Everybody does on 1/3 and stuff. But like on 1/3, this, it's not gonna be actually, look, if I apply 1/3 smoothing like that, then it's gonna try to EQ this part. And I really don't want to EQ this part. So I just left it there. Yeah. Left and right tweeter, just like that. Now mid-range, left and right. Okay, just had a few files mixed up. So mid, left and right, kind of similar response. So the left one, I crossed it 250 hertz with 12 dB crossover because I needed this extension. And if I would cross it steeper, it would go down. If I would choose the target level a bit higher, then this will be a compromise, which I didn't want it to be. So I think this is kind of a target level that I aim for. This is with no crossovers. It was playing like raw, and that's why you need a crossover. So when you apply crossover, it brings all of this down. And I chose a higher crossover and a shallower, so it would remove more energy here, and I would have to use less EQ. So this is after crossovers and after the EQ. So again, bring it down, slight bump, bring it down. And this one, I left it because this is a reflection from the glass and I just don't want to deal with it now. I didn't want to play with it. So I just left it as it is with a big dip. And then have something like this. Right is kind of very similar. Again, shallower. See, so what only the crossover, shallower, higher frequency removed a lot of energy from this region, and I don't have to EQ it down. And crossover there, and after EQ, just a few little adjustments here and then. And again, this I left there. So probably you see that this follows the targets down to here, and here kind of drops off, which is fine because I don't want the mids play like all the way. So even from like this, is totally fine. But the main thing is they match together. Now let's have a look at the mid bass. Left bass, which left bass, it's kind of almost perfect. I'm gonna ship this. It's almost perfect, just a few crossovers. So even with the crossovers, I ended up like this. So with the crossovers, the main thing is for this, I had to choose a crossover that would be safe for the driver. So it's not ideal because it is too steep. You would want it a bit more shallower, but I want to be safe. So I did choose, if I believe correctly, if I remember correctly, 70 or 60 hertz at 24 dB bezel. So it is kind of more energy here and sharper cutoff. And I did test it, one song which has a lot of mid bass full tilt with that crossover, and it did handle it perfectly. So this is exactly what I need. I might show you how to do this in another video, how to actually see the excursion and choose the crossover based on that, because I know that they don't have distortion at the bottom end at all. So with the crossovers, and then left, just some EQ. Again, just remove this energy and everything up till here is fine. And after that, just let it fall down, because this is the region for the front subwoofer. It's the middle. So like everything below here, it doesn't matter at all, because the front sub takes over everything from there. Now the right one was a bit problematic, a bit more problematic than the left one. Crossover, again, here this area you can see doesn't follow as much, but I need a safe crossover primarily, and I was ready to sacrifice some response for that. And after the EQ ended up like this. So the level is different. I probably didn't change the level, didn't have time. So I did boost this area a tiny bit, but again, this is like at 80 hertz, I think plus 4 dB at 80 hertz. So it's not much, and 80 hertz is not like 50 or 60, which is fine. And then ended up with something like this. So left and right, just the different levels. I will need to fix the levels later on. So this, the right one, is a bit more problematic, but it's workable. Now, front subwoofer, this one, that's the main response. After the crossover, so crossover is mainly a subsonic to remove. It is in a small, so the front subwoofer is a Dayton 10-inch in a sealed enclosure, half a cubic foot. So just a small subsonic filter, just to remove the bottom end from over excurting because I don't need it, and just remove the top end. And then EQ, basically very little, just a few little things to fix. And this level was a bit higher than the target. I think I left it like this, but it's just a test tune. But yeah, it follows very nice. This is something buzzing in the car. I don't know what that is. Something with the ECU or something. So it's always there, that buzz. Now the IB sub, which is the most interesting thing. Rear sub. I had to tone it down quite a lot because it was like 20 dB more than I actually need for the target. So this is raw response with nothing. No crossovers, no, absolutely nothing. The subwoofer amplifier plays up to 200. So this is just location based. And this is the car's, the main null at 62, 63, whatever hertz. And this is what it plays. But like, you can see that even with like raw response is almost matching the actual target that I need. So I did apply a crossover just to get rid, this is floor noise of the mic. So just to get rid of all of this energy. It was 48 hertz, 24 dB slope, just to get rid of that. And after that, just a few bands of EQ, just to remove this little mountain of energy. I could have left it, but it's like, whatever, just like that. And the thing is, then I didn't check any like 1x1 sums or anything, but yeah, so the main thing, the sum between the rear subwoofer, front subwoofer, and the mid bass is ideal. It's a straight line. Then to the mid-range is fine as well. The mid-ranges have some problems because, again, I didn't phase align them. I just, from memory, just random timings. So this is not aligned. Tweeters sum nicely. It's just a dip in this region where they kind of sum. But in general, oh, I left one. Yeah. But in general, it's a very okay tune. Let's do 1/3 just to see. Yeah. So like this, and I have the extension all the way to what, 12 hertz? Ooh, something like that. Yeah, all the way there. This I will try to put some home audio tweeters just to cover that range and see how big of a difference it makes, like on a switch, so I can turn it off, and just to see does it make a big difference to have those like super tweeters, what people say. This area will need some time alignment and phase alignment, so that's what I'm going to do next time when I'm going to tune. But the rise from 200 all the way up is very nice. I chose, I think, like 15 or 16 dB plus at 20 hertz, so could be more bass, and probably I will have a bit more bass, but even now it's bassy, it's good. What I did notice is that on very extremely loud volumes, I would prefer the top end to be like maybe 2 dB lower. It's not harsh by any means. Everything like, so the best thing about this, I don't know, maybe it's just a status that you crank it up full tilt and it doesn't feel like it's struggling at all. It looks like you would have another 3 4 clicks up and it's still gonna be fine. It doesn't break at all. Even full tilt, it's painful, but not from distortion, but from the actual volume, from the levels. That's why I want to bring the top end a little bit down, because I do like to listen very, very loud. But in general, I'm very happy with the tune. It's not perfect. It's like 1.5 hours, so it's gonna be a next one, proper one. But for now, that's it. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.